Hello, welcome back to Intended Being, where we help you be the you intend to be. As you can see, we got Carl and Buddy, Robert Plant, back again to help you develop habits that you can keep going or quit habits you no longer want to have. Now, today we're going to use a mnemonic device just like in the last video. And to introduce this device, I want you to think about what is the most important trait of a habit. I would say the most important trait is that you can sustain it. In fact, if you can't sustain it, can you even call it a habit? I'd say no. Right? So sustain is going to be the acronym we're going to use, the mnemonic device to help you remember the important elements of creating a successful habit or successfully quitting a habit. Right? So it's very similar to the acronym we used last video for smarter goals. And similar to that, it's based on decades of research from all kinds of different sources. But unlike SMART goals, you may have heard of SMART goals because they've been around for forever. With Sustain, we developed that. So what you're going to see in the rest of this video should be unique to Intended Being. When it comes to the acronym Sustain, you might be wondering, well, what does that stand for? Well, let me tell you. The S is for super, and the U is for unique. The P is for perfection, and you know that we are freaks. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was JJ Fad. That was JJ Fad. That wasn't really about habits. So sustain for habits actually stands for the first three letters are adjectives that help you define your habit. So it needs to be small, useful, and specific. The next three letters stand for verbs that will help you get your habit going and keep it going, or stop your habit and keep stopping your habit. So you need to track it, automate it, and initiate it. And then the last letter stands for a noun that is going to be your focus point. And that is what need or needs does this habit meet for you? Or by quitting this habit, what need or needs will you be able to meet? And since this last letter is our focus point, it's basically anchoring your habit to who you intend to be. We're going to start there. And then we'll go back to the beginning of the word and go through the rest of the letters. But starting with need, in terms of your habit should move towards your vision. Right? And well, first of all, we got to ask, are you creating a new habit or are you trying to quit a habit? Okay. And those might sound like two very different things. But when you think about it, when we're trying to change, it often requires us to do both. If you're trying to start a new habit, say you want to exercise 20 minutes a day or something, in order to do that, you need to make room, which means you got to stop doing something else you're doing for 20 minutes a day. And vice versa, if you want to quit a habit, then a lot of times we need to be very careful and very intentional with what we replace that habit with. Otherwise, we may find that subconsciously we replace that habit with something that's just as bad or even worse for us. Okay, so let's start off with talking about creating a new habit. So if you have a habit in mind, how does that habit build towards the vision you created? Does it build towards that vision? If not, then is it a habit you really want to spend energy and time on? If you really think this is a good habit, then what is it building towards? And why is it not part of your vision? Maybe you need to revise your vision a little bit. Or if you don't know what habit to go for, then look at your vision. What really excites you about that vision in terms of how it meets your needs, honors your values, and who you intend to be? What part of that really excites you, and what do you need to do on a daily or weekly basis to get there? And that should give you an idea of what kind of habit to create. Either way, it's kind of an iterative process. Your habit and your vision should be aligned in one way or another. So then, and there's more information on that in the worksheets, but that's in terms of creating a habit, Make sure it focuses on that vision and you understand the needs it's going to help you meet. Now, same thing with if you're quitting a habit. If you're quitting a habit, why are you doing that? What is that going to help build you towards? By quitting this habit, is that getting you closer to your vision? If so, that's great. If not, then why are you quitting this habit? And what is the quitting it moving you towards? And why is that not in your vision? Do you need to change your vision? So again, this is an iterative process to make sure that your actions or your changing in habits is in line with building towards your vision. But quitting a habit, there's another really important piece to quitting a habit, and that is understanding why you do it in the first place, right? So a lot of times we have cravings or urges to do habits that we don't really want to have. And we need to understand where those urges or cravings are coming from. Usually they're coming from this idea that our brain has about needs that it will meet for us. And a lot of times they're not even needs that this habit is meeting. We just think it's going to meet those needs. For example, when I was trying to reduce my drinking of Coke or Pepsi or other colas or pops, as we call it, at first I thought, okay, well, I'm drinking Coke because it's got caffeine and it's got sugar, so obviously I want more energy. And a lot of times that was why I was drinking Coke. And obviously all the sugar leads to some energy and then sugar coma. So I don't know how helpful it is for that. But what I didn't realize, and what really helped me curb my drinking or quit drinking it so much, is that a lot of times I found I was craving Coca-Cola or Pepsi when I needed to relax. And that's because when I was a kid, I have so many different memories and associations to sitting outside and relaxing with an ice cold Coke that in my brain, it made this connection to Coke equals relaxing, peace, calm, serenity, and so on. So in order to quit drinking Coke, I need to replace that with other things that will meet the needs that I think it will meet, right? So if I think Coke is going to give me energy, when I'm craving Coke for energy, what else can I do? Well, a good friend of mine was like, you know what? You do 10 burpees, or you start doing jumping jacks, or you do push-ups or whatever. So that gets the blood flowing, and that helps me when I'm like, oh, I need energy and I need a Coke. But then there's the whole other side. When I'm feeling stressed out and I'm like, I need to calm down, I need peace, I just need to relax. Well, Coke is a stimulant, so that's kind of a weird thing to drink when you need to relax. So it's not really doing that for me. I just think it will. So instead, I find music, different songs that help calm me down, or I'll sit on the couch for a little while, or I'll do some breathing exercises or whatever. And those help meet the need that drive the cravings that I have for Coke. So what I want you to do in whatever habit you're trying to quit, I want you to do a needs study. And there's directions in the exercise sheets, much more detailed than what I'm going to say now. And we also did this in video 2, so you can recheck that. But in a needs study, what I want you to do is take your feelings cards and your needs cards, which down below we have links to free cards you can print out, or cards you can buy, or videos you can watch where you go through the cards. Lots of different resources. Soon we'll have an app where you can do this on your phone. But anyway, for your habit you want to quit, I want you to think about, okay, when I'm really craving to do this habit, I have an urge. What feelings am I feeling? Right? So, oh, this is a good one. So like for me, maybe I'm feeling tense, and that really makes me want to drink a Coke so I can relax, right? So what feelings are driving you to do this habit? And also pull out the feelings that you think you're going to feel after you do the habit. Not necessarily the feelings you will have, but the feelings that your brain is tricking you to think. So, oh, here's a good one. Energized, right? So I think after drinking Coke, I'm going to feel energized. It doesn't mean I will feel that way. It's just that's what I think is going to happen up here somewhere. So I want you to go through the cards and see what connects with you. Because if you just write down what you're thinking, that's you're going to miss some stuff, right? So you want to go through the cards. You might be surprised at some of the feelings you pull out and say, well, that doesn't even make sense, but somehow I'm connecting to that feeling. And then once you're done with that, then you need to go through the needs cards and say, okay, what needs is my brain connecting to these feelings? So what needs are really driving these urges to do this habit? So again, for me, like ease, right? I have this false sense that if I drink Coke, it's going to put me at ease. Or another one, so on the other end, inspiration. Like if I'm just feeling no motivation, I have this false sense that if I drink a Coke, I'm going to get energy, I'm going to get inspired, and everything's going to be great. Right? So I want you to do that for your habit that you want to quit. Figure out what needs your brain thinks it's meeting, and then you need to figure out, okay, when I have these cravings to do this habit, how am I going to fulfill those needs in other ways? And probably in better ways that will actually fulfill those needs. Versus a lot of bad habits just trick us into thinking they're going to fulfill us. So that's a key strategy to quitting your habit, okay? Now, whether you're starting a new habit or quitting a habit, what I want you to do in terms of these needs is just somehow capture real vividly, whether it's writing a story or a description or finding a song or an image online or drawing something or painting something, whatever it is, capture how you're going to feel a year from now if you successfully start this new habit of yours. How do you think that's going to feel? Or if you quit this habit you want to quit, how are you going to be feeling? What's life going to be like? You know, capture that. And what needs are you meeting by doing that? Right? Make sure you write those down. What needs are being met if you successfully do that? And that's going to be something we're going to use to help you keep motivated when you start losing energy. Okay, so that's the need part. Now let's start back to the beginning of the word and talk about how we're going to define your habit. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start small. You want to start small because your ego is going to get you in trouble every time. Your ego is the reason why so often trying to create a habit fails within the first few weeks, the first month, right? Because let's say, for example, you're like, I'm going to exercise more. Your ego is going to say, I'm going to the gym 2 hours a day. It's good. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to have 6-pack abs. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be awesome, right? That's your ego talking. Your egos, don't listen to it. Do not listen to your ego. Start small. Feel early success and build on that success. It's so much easier to build on success than to try to pick yourself up time after time from failing when you're going too big, right? So don't say you're going to exercise 2 hours a day. I mean, if you get there, that's great. Eventually, fine. But start with 15 minutes twice a week or 10 minutes once a week, whatever you know you can do. Start with that and then build slowly from there. Or maybe say, hey, I want to do push-ups every day. So today I'm going to start with 1 push-up or 1 knee push-up if I can't do a full push-up. Whatever it is, I'm going to start with 1. And then tomorrow I'll try for 2. And then by the end of the month, you're doing 30 push-ups a day if you can keep that up. Or if not, maybe you're doing 20 push-ups a day. Either way, you're still doing it, right? Versus trying to do 2 hours a day and then I'm done. And then you just feel like failure. Same thing if you're quitting a habit. Start small. So let's say you want to quit drinking Coke or Pepsi or whatever it is. Say, you know what? I'm no longer going to have any kind of pop soda or whatever with dinner, right? Start small and then build on your success. The next part, make sure you know why or how your habit is useful, right? Maybe you've heard a bunch of people say, oh, drinking water is a great idea. Okay, so I want to drink more water. Well, why are you drinking more water? Well, it's for my health. Well, what is it doing for you, though? It's giving me more hydration. Or by drinking more water, I'm going to feel more full, so I won't eat as much. or I won't drink as much pop, or whatever it is. Make sure you know why you're doing it. Or maybe people are like, oh, you should read more. Oh, I should read more books. Yes. But why? Are you reading more to relax? That's cool. Are you reading more to get more knowledge? Understand why you're doing it. Why is this useful for you? Same thing with quitting, right? Let's say you say, oh, you know what? I'm going to quit spending so much time on my phone. Okay, that's great. But why? Is it because when you're on your phone late at night, the blue light keeps you awake and you're not sleeping well? Is it because you want to spend more time with other people? Is it because your fingers are getting cramps because you're poking on these things so much? Or why do you want to stop using your phone so much? And how is that how useful for you? Right? There's all kinds of reasons, but you need to know what your reason is. And then finally, for defining your habit, be very specific, right? Know what you got to do, and it's that way you know if you've done it. A lot of people might say, you know what, I'm going to try and be nicer every day. Well, what does that mean? I don't know if I'm being nicer or not. But what I do know is I can say, okay, I want to say hello to at least 3 people every day. That I know. That's starting small, which is good, as we talked about. And I know whether or not I've done it. And then I can add on from there, right? Start a conversation with at least one of those people or whatever it is. Be specific. I want to walk more. What does that mean? I want at least 5,000 steps a day. Okay, that's specific. I want to eat better. Okay, what does that mean? No, I want to have at least 3 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Whatever it is, be specific. Or if you're trying to quit something, be specific. I want to spend less time on my phone. Okay, that's great. I want to spend a maximum of 3 hours a day on my phone. I don't know. That seems like a lot for some people. Maybe that seems like a real small amount for other people. But be specific about what you're trying to do. Because this is really important, not only so that you know that you've done it, but also for our next letter is if you know you've done it, you can track it. By tracking it, you can tell, am I building towards my vision, towards my goals, or have I fallen off track and I need to make a correction to get back on track? Right, so tracking is really key. It's so much easier if after a week you say, oh shoot, I've missed a few days, I gotta make some changes and get back on course. A lot easier to do that than a month later saying, oh crap, I totally forgot I was gonna do this habit. I haven't done it for 3 weeks. Then it's like starting all over again. And the other piece of tracking it, and the other reason why you want to track things is it gives you a visual indication of your progress. You can see that you're gaining momentum. And just seeing your momentum can give you more motivation to keep going. Now, in terms of tracking it, there's all kinds of trackers out there available, right? There's a tracker included in the exercise sheets for this video. I also left some links below to other websites that have printable trackers that you can use, links to apps as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. If you go to the store and you buy a planner or a calendar, those often have habit trackers in them. In fact, a calendar is a habit tracker. All you have to do is look at the days and say, okay, I did this habit today. I'll mark an X or an H for habit, or put some symbol on it that you know means you've done your habit, or a number saying how many times you've done it each day, whatever, right? A simple calendar is all you really need. But there's apps out there. So if you really want some extra motivation, there's apps out there where you can have a virtual pet that gets healthier and happier with each time you do your habit. There's apps out there where you can connect with your friends, which you can use either to kind of help support each other, to keep going with your habits, or maybe you're super competitive and you just want to crush your friends and show them how awesome you are by doing more habits than they have. I don't know. However, an app is going to help you do your habits, do it. So track your habits, and this also includes when you're trying to quit a habit, right? If you say, okay, I want to quit drinking Coke, and I'm going to start by not having Coke with dinner. You can mark on the calendar each day that you do not have Coke with dinner. And then when you want to add other things, other times you're not drinking Coke, you can put that on a calendar. Or you can just show total number of cans of Coke you've had and watch on the calendar as that number goes down. So either way, whether you're creating a habit or quitting a habit, tracking it is one way to make sure you're successful. And another way, just as important, is automating it, right? So if you're trying to build a habit, make it part of a routine you already have. So for example, you want to exercise in the morning, put your sweatpants or your sweatshirt or whatever right in front of your cereal box. You cannot eat breakfast without reminding yourself that you want to exercise. If you want to say hello to people, more people during the day, put a sign on your door so when you leave the house or your apartment, it says, go say hello to at least 3 people. I don't know, set an alarm on your phone, ask your friends to mention it. Whatever you can do, make sure you automate ways to remind you that you want to do this habit. Now, you also want to automate things in ways to help you actually do your habit easier. So again, let's say in the mornings you want to exercise at home. Well, in the evenings, make sure that your exercise room is all set up to go. You got the clothes you need there, unless they're in front of your cereal. You've got your weights, whatever, your video is queued up, your music is queued up. All you have to do is show up and start exercising, right? Or maybe you have a habit you want to do in the evening and there's something you can do at lunchtime to make it easier to do that habit. Whatever it is, automate ways to make it easier to do your habit. And similarly, if you want to quit a habit, let's say you don't want to drink Coke so much and you think of Coke as a way to energize yourself and you think of it as a way to calm and relax yourself. Well, what you can do is take Post-it notes and put them on each can of Coke and say, for energy, do this. For energy, do jumping jacks. To relax, listen to this song, or whatever it is that you've decided is a better way to meet your needs than the habit you're trying to quit. Put notes on. Or set an alarm on your phone if it's a habit you routinely do at night or something that you're trying to quit. Whatever it is, automate as much as possible so you can quit it easier. Okay? So automating it and tracking it, those are great, but neither of those mean anything if you don't initiate your habit. So many habits fail before they ever begin because they don't begin. Now, if you've been paying attention to this video, then hopefully you've created your habit so that it's very specific and that it's small. So what does that mean? That means you know what to do and you know you can do it. So put it on a calendar. Do it today. Hit pause on this video and just go do it now. If you want to start exercising, hit pause, drop and do some push-ups. This moment, then you can exit on your calendar. You already have momentum. Okay? So start it as soon as you can. So to recap, when you're creating your habit, you want to make sure it's small so you can do it easily. You know why it's useful for you. And it's specific so you know what to do. Then figure out how you can track it to keep a visual of your momentum. How you can automate it to make sure you can do it and you can do it easily. And obviously you need to initiate it. And then finally, the needs that it meets for you should be the anchor for why you're doing this in the first place and where you can get motivation to keep going. All right, so in the worksheets, again, the worksheets provided will help guide you through this process. I do hope that you found this useful and helpful, but whatever, if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, complaints, thoughts, whatever, please put them down in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this, you've been enjoying this series, please look forward. We look forward to providing you with the next video, video 8, which is when we're going to talk about how you're going to manage your resistance to change and keep your habits and goals moving towards your vision. Yeah. So either way, if you like this video, if you want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit the like. And either way, we at Intended Being, we all hope you're doing well. We wish you the best. Please do take care.